Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and the new expansion is nearly upon us for Hearthstone, so we can look at the cards and see what we think about them and whether they're going to be useful when we do the 50 plus card pack opening, which will probably be 72 card packs open just on my main America's account, and really 150 card plus pack opening in total. When that happens, I believe that will be happening December 4th when the expansion actually comes out, or I believe that is when the expansion actually comes out. Hearthstone is always hard to tell. And so to see the new cards right now, you go into crafting mode, you click include uncraftable cards, and then you select the newest expansion, which is labeled Rumble. Last time we looked at the Warlock cards, some interesting cards, but kind of unplayable cards too, depending on what you already have. And this time we'll be looking at Warrior. After we're done with Warrior, we then have the long journey of looking at all the neutral cards. Theoretically, the neutral cards could come in here and explain some of the questions we have about some of the cards that have been added to each hero class, or more often it probably won't explain anything and the cards are just going to be a little random and a little weird. Sometimes they're just, you know, meh cards and bad cards added to expansions. That's how it's always gone with collectible card games. Kind of has to be how it goes. So let's not waste too much time here and start looking at the cards. Our first one we have is a 1-mana spell called Devastate. It is a common rarity. Deal 4 damage to a damaged minion. Now that works perfectly fine with a warrior because the warrior has lots of other spells and ways in which you try to damage all minions or just the enemy minions. So yeah, there's nothing here that looks bad. In fact, dealing 4 damage to a damaged minion is kind of incredibly high amount of damage. If it were deal 3 damage to a damaged minion, I still would have thought it was pretty good. If it was deal 2 damage to a damaged minion, I think it would have been probably a little weak at that point. Next we have a 1-mana 0 attack 3 health. There's quite a few 1-mana 0 attack 3 health styles of characters that have been released. Maybe one for each of the character classes, and I've just not been paying enough attention to realize it. They seem to be part of the expansion's Loa idea, that there's going to be a spirit of something and a then legendary, more expensive kind of card. So yeah, 1 mana, 0 attack, 3 health, Spirit of the Rhino. It has stealth for 1 turn, and your rush minions are immune for the turn they're summoned. Excuse me, I've been talking too long. So yeah, that's pretty good, depending on how easy it will be as a warrior to summon rush minions. This means rush minions can attack another minion the turn they're summoned. Now they would be immune, so they wouldn't die when they attacked, which is almost certainly what's going to happen when you attack with a rush minion, because they're usually super weak on health and not capable of surviving to the next turn, which kind of undoes the idea of being a rush minion in the first place. Next we have a 2-mana spell called Dragon Roar that adds 2 random dragons to your hand. Now, I've never been able to become a fan of dragons in Hearthstone. It doesn't feel like dragons are very synergistic. They sometimes have abilities that say if you're holding another dragon, this card will have a battle cry that does something, but I've yet to see something that says for every dragon on the field get +1/+1 attack, or give all the dragons in your field or hand or deck +1/+1 attack, or you know, give all the dragons on your side divine shield or taunt or anything like that. It seems like each dragon is uniquely its own thing, and while they are part of the class of dragons, they never seem to really work together. So when you're having a spell that adds 2 dragons to your hand, it's it's probably an admission that you don't have enough dragons to be playing dragons in your deck. I really haven't seen a lot of people play dragons for that reason in general. So this probably isn't that good of a card. Unless you just need to play 2 specific dragons and you only have 2 dragons in your... no, because this adds 2 random dragons to your hand, so it's not even pulling them from your deck. Yeah, I don't think this card is worth it in the long run. It's too random. Moving on, we have 3 mana, 2 attack, 4 durability weapon called Overlord's Whip. After you play a minion, deal 1 damage to it. I'm fairly certain that there was something already like this for the warrior. It will certainly help you to play something like this if you're playing straight enrage minions, but otherwise I'm not sure you'd want to play this. It's a pretty decent weapon anyways, though, so you might want to play it anyways. There is a weapons deck you could build for one very specific minion that has you discard all the weapons and gain the stats of all the weapons. If you're playing that weapons only deck, then this would be helpful in that, but that's also a crazy deck to play because you only have 1 minion, and if you don't draw that 1 minion, then you can't do much of anything other than play weapons and attack directly. Next we have a 3 mana, 3 attack, 2 health, epic minion called the Smolder's Thorn Lancer. As a battle cry, if you're holding a dragon, destroy a damaged enemy minion. Okay, like, it's not the greatest ever. It's both a combination of a dragon requirement card that isn't a dragon itself, and you would need something to have damaged that other minion. I don't think you could practically have this in your deck. I don't think it would trigger the way you'd want it to very often. I'm happy, however, I'll say that Hearthstone has started putting cards like this that have the if idea. They will make those cards golden in the outline to show you that their ability would actually trigger in this instance. So you don't have to look at your hand and read the instructions as often, or have the entirety of every single card memorized in Hearthstone. Next we have a 4 mana, 4 attack, 3 health legendary minion called War Master Voon. Battlecry, copy all dragons in your hand, which would just be duplicating the number of dragons in your hand. So unless you had a very specific dragon that you needed to copy, I'm not sure why you would want to play this. We're seeing a very dragon-centric collection of cards. I need to see a reason for that at some point. Otherwise, this is going to be a rather disappointing collection of expansion cards. Next, we have a 5 mana, 5 attack, 5 health minion called the Emberscale Drake. It's a dragon class minion. Battlecry, if you're holding a dragon, gain 5 armor. Okay. This is not a terrible card by itself, and getting 5 armor is certainly helpful. Next we have a 6 mana spell called Heavy Metal. Summon a random minion with cost equal to your armor up to 10. So, I think that there is definitely a way that this could be useful, but it is also, I think, reasonable to say that that a lot of times you wouldn't get up to 10 armor because things would be attacking you, and there probably aren't too many 10 mana minions that are specifically warrior minions that you would need to summon in that way. And still, this is a 6 mana card, so you're going to have to play it on the 6th turn instead of the 10th turn, which is 4 turns early. That's pretty good. But you also would have had to play a lot of other things to get armor. There was a new card in the Paladin class, I believe, that turned all your health into armor. So if you could somehow steal this card, or get this card as a Paladin, and then turn all but one of your health into 29 armor, and then play this, I mean, that might make some sense, but there's still a 6 turn play. Or you could play the other way and steal that Paladin card and play it as a warrior, but this still is a 6 turn spell. So it sounds intriguing, but I think if you do the math, it's not as good as it sounds. Moving on, we have a 6 mana, 4 attack, 4 durability weapon called Soul Tharaz. Overkill, you may attack again. So this is the new key phrase, overkill, which as I understand it, if you were to attack something that had 3 health, you would then have done 1 damage of overkill, which in this case will allow you to attack again. I suspect it does not work where if you attack something with 1 health, you would have done 3 points of overkill, therefore this has been triggered 3 times. Even if this was triggered 3 times, it just says you may attack again, so that doesn't mean that you've then lined up 3 attacks that you could use somewhere else. And the overkill won't work so much on a hero. Yeah, so that's not going to be helpful. You could use this on the 6th turn and kill 3/0/3 or 3/3 health minions, and then after you'd killed the third 3 health minion, you would have triggered the overkill a 4th time, which then would allow you to attack once to the hero's face and do damage to the hero, which is about as good as you can get. Unless, well, there is a minion out there for the mage that will, I think, there's a minion for somebody that will take the damage that was supposed to be dealt to a hero's face, and therefore if you attacked with this weapon and you killed that minion, that theoretically would then trigger the overkill ability and let you attack again at the hero's face. But even if that was the case, that first attack wouldn't have done any damage to the hero's face anyway, so you're still at most only going to ever do 4 damage to the hero's face using this per turn, and really at all. Finally, we have an 8 mana, 5 attack, 5 health legendary minion, a beast class, Akali the Rhino. It has rush, which it's kind of a big creature to have rush, certainly. And then overkill, draw a rush minion from your deck and give it +5/+5. This card alone does make a good argument to making a rush deck at that point. If you could get this on the field on the 10th turn and then get it to kill something and get overkill, you could then get a pretty decent secondary rush minion. I don't know how many times though you could actually trigger this overkill. I'm thinking once, maybe twice, and then that would be it. Anytime I've seen an overkill card, it seems like you could only realistically expect it to trigger once or twice. So if we look at all the standard cards on the warrior, let's see if there's really any synergy there. Summon 3 minions from your hand, give them rush. Okay, that might synergize. Destroy all damaged minion, that would synergize pretty well. This hero replacement deals 1 damage to all minions, that might synergize a little bit. Summon random legendary minions with Rot Face, that's probably a decent card. I just got this one. This was the last classic legendary that I needed to collect. See this card, at the end of your turn, summon a random minion with the cost equal to your armor up to 10. So it seems like this is a much better card than what is being added, but this is like Kobolds and Catacombs card, so it's probably set to go into Wild pretty soon. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these weapons are going to get nerfed to put in Wild. Let's see. Dr. Boom, Mad Genius. Store for the rest of the game, your mechs have rush. That would be interesting, but probably pretty difficult too. And that we haven't seen any new mech cards, which I bet there aren't any in this expansion at all. Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle ground with these cards. I'm not sure if they're great, or I'm not sure if they're just okay. I can say that the dragons still don't feel like there's a strategy there or enough dragons to make sense. If we look through all the neutral cards in the next episode, maybe at that point I'll see a bunch more dragons and it'll make a lot more sense. But right now it still doesn't fall into that category. Let's see. Execute is destroy a damaged enemy minion. Whenever a friendly minion takes damage, gain armor. You can definitely make armor decks, but they've been a little bit nerfed. Nothing really works. Nothing new worked with that card. Yeah. Doesn't feel like there's a big synergy there, but kind of decent cards. Well, that's going to be it for this recording. Only have to look at the neutral cards. That's going to be the long haul. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, or Google+, Steam, or Battle.net, all of those links are down below in the description, and you can support me down below through Patreon or through friending me on Steam and gifting me a game. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.